Okay folks, the case mod project is as complete as it's going to be at the moment. I've got a few little additions I need to make, but I will do those probably over the next month or so. But as far as it goes, this thing is all back together, and I'm very pleased with the way it's turned out in the end. There's certainly been some headaches along the way, but we've managed to get there in the end. So just want to give you a shot of how this looks. Quite pleased with the cable management. Obviously I haven't connected the hard drive up yet because I've not got this connected up to a monitor or anything. Still having to use IDE, unfortunately, because the only DVD writer that I had was an IDE one. So at some point we'll probably get a SATA one, and that will reduce the cables even more. But reasonably happy. We've managed to run the fan cables up here across the top, and then connected them up to the side of the power supply, and then they run out around the back. The 4-pin runs across here, around the back of the fans, up there, and then out through the back of the power supply. And what we've done here is we've swapped the hard drive around so that the connectors are at this end, so we'll be able to run the cables around the front and out of sight rather than through here. It does mean I can only put one screw on each side, but I've had that up and running. It doesn't seem to be any noisier. It doesn't really move that much at all. A little bit maybe, not too much. So pleased with that. Let's just switch it on. Okay. Don't really get to see the LED lights on those fans because there's quite a lot of light in here. So I'll swap this one out for a purple. The on-off button also has the hard drive activity light. That's obviously not working at the moment because the hard drive's not connected, but I also swapped that out for a purple one as well. Haven't swapped these out for purple LEDs in here yet. They're not very bright anyway, so I might just leave them. In fact, to be honest, there's not really enough light at all, so I'm probably going to need to put some cold cathodes in or something. I will show you what it looks like with the side covers on. But I don't get the kind of purple glow that I wanted. So I don't like the way this looks. There's a lot of air comes through here. It's very, very cold, and these heat spreaders very, very cold to the touch. So that front fan really does kick through a lot of air. So if this machine was going to be overclocked, then I think there would be very good airflow. Obviously there's nothing cooling down the hard drive at the moment, so at some point it may be wise to put some 80mm fans in the front or down on the floor, but that's a project maybe for the future if we need to do it. Let's just spin this round. It is quite heavy because we've got quite a heavy cooler and a heavy power supply. Just so you can see what we've done with the cable management here. Okay, we've managed to pretty much get everything tucked behind the drive bays. Managed to keep this area clear. Because there's a lip here and here, it's very hard to run cables over the top. And I probably should have cut some holes in this at some point, but didn't need to in the end. There's plenty of space here. I was able to get the side cover on reasonably easily. It's been a little bit more difficult since the case was painted, to be honest, anyway. But it's certainly been good enough. So obviously quite messy behind here, but when you consider what it looks like on the other side, I think it's a small price to pay. Obviously I still need to cut that back, which I haven't done yet. But I'm quite pleased with that. Terminal block in operation, working nicely. That was my SATA extender that I used, so I didn't have to chop off the SATA connector on the power supply, so I can reuse this if I want to. You can see here where I've just clipped in the excess of the cables for the 4-pin power. Managed to run some behind here as well. So not bad for a budget case actually. It's not too bad for cable management. There is plenty of space behind here, which was really good, and I've managed to make use of some of these holes here because we're only running one optical drive and at the moment one hard drive. It has given us plenty of places to attach the cable ties, so really pleased with that. What we'll do is we'll get the covers on and we'll let you have a look at it with the covers on. Okay, so here we are with the covers on, and we have the side window here. There's a lot of light reflecting back off this, so it's difficult to see what's going on in there, but very, very pleased with how the side window turned out. So much so that I'll definitely do another one. Might even do that on my silver case on my main PC because it really does look great. In fact, what you can see in there, you can just see some of the other things that we've got in the garage here reflected in there. I've still got to put some mesh on the front. My plan is not to leave this open, but to put some mesh on that, really to act as a filter and to stop things getting into the computer that we don't want. Probably put a card reader in here. I haven't put the floppy disk drive back in. There's no point. I'm not going to use one, and I just don't want floppy cables or anything. So probably, as I say, a card reader to go in there. I will need to get some blanking plates for these. The ones I painted up I didn't like in the end because they clip on, and I felt they would scratch the paintwork too much. I mean, we've already got some areas where, you know, there's some little chips in the paint. You're going to get those anyway, but I want to avoid using them or using anything that will chip the paint more than necessary, really. Here I actually put white stickers on the fans. I just went to a craft store and got some white circular stickers just to put in the centre of the fans there, which I think look really nice. I think when you take the fins off to paint the fans, the stickers often don't go back on, and I had one that did and one that didn't. So I just thought, well, we'll just put white stickers on both of them. Glad I painted the I/O shield. I think that looks very effective, and glad I painted the power supply too. So that's it for now for the Case Mod project. There probably will be some update videos to come, but for all intents and purposes this is a finished and working computer. My first real full mod project, my first painting project certainly of any real stature. Learned a lot by doing it. Probably will have another go at some point. Anyway, it's getting to the time of year now where painting is not so easy. As we're getting into autumn and the weather starts to turn, it's going to be more difficult, so might not be any more painting projects till next year. But thanks for watching the videos, thanks for taking an interest, and if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe. Thank you.